welcome to another episode of Rise Together. Today, we are live in your old stomping grounds.
Old stomping grounds.
So this is going to be pretty fun, for sure. Sean is here with me. Sean, you may have recognized in some different things in the past. He's been in a few Walmart Academy training videos. He's been in the Walmart world. He's had all kinds of fun stuff like that. Former trainer, facilitator, now co-manager at a store right here in Broken Arrow.
Yep, right down the street, 472.
So Sean, I'm excited to finally be able to sit down with you. You're a fun character. So many individuals are going to love watching this video. I already know because you have so many fans around the world.
Okay, that's a good name for them.
There you go. So, man, I'm really interested to hear your transition from operations to academy back to operations. Before we even get into that, what's your Walmart story? Tell us about your Walmart story.
My Walmart story. Well, what's really fun is that 11 years ago, I started working as a cashier at the Walmart that was across the street from the college that I was at. And I was planning on doing that until college was over. Okay. And then once college ended, I was going to quit and go do corporate things. My major was in interpersonal communication, so HR. Let's not call it fancy stuff. So it was in HR. And so I kept working at Walmart. Once I got through with college, ended up going to work for another company, but my wife was finishing grad school. So while she was doing that, I kept working at Walmart while working another job that was more in the field. That was obviously what my degree was. And then realized that really wasn't what I wanted to do. And so
the other job.
Yeah, the other job the HR job really wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went from cashier, I was a CSM, did that, and then I ended up working asset protection for a while, which was super fun. Probably one of the funner jobs that I had. And then I went into personnel, which was different. And then from there, when I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do, talked with my market HR. And that's when I went into the assistant manager program. Okay. And decided that I was going to try to make a career out of this. And from there, spent about 1.5 years, almost 2 years as an assistant. Spoke with my market manager, and they were talking about this whole academy thing before it existed. I was just saying that it was going to be a cool thing, and ended up coming here, was a facilitator at the academy, so stepped out of operations into teaching, and then was able to get back into operations as a co-manager down the street.
There it is. There's so many questions there I want to talk about because you had lots of conversations with different people. Mm-hmm. You talked about your market HR. You talked about your market manager. Yes. So building those strong community relationships, which is part of your degree. So you didn't completely abandon it. You maybe still deal with people.
A little bit.
What season? So 11 years. What season do you just think fondly of when you think back the last 11 years with all those roles? Cashier, asset protection. Assistant manager. What else? You said something else in between there. Personnel. Yeah. And then facilitator, co-manager. Was anything a lot more fun than you thought? Or
so asset protection was super fun. Really enjoyed that. Assistant manager was awesome. I really loved being an assistant. Mainly because it very similar to what I do now. You're kind of the bridge between what your store manager wants and then what the associates feel like they can do. Sure. Right? You make up that gap. Sure. So I really, really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed just having a group of associates that you could influence and that really you just really got to step into their world, but then you also got to step into your store manager's world and see things from his perspective and then execute. Right? Sure. So I really enjoyed that. I think that was a huge enjoyment. And then obviously being a facilitator, that's like the best of both worlds. I feel like it was really fun just being able to have people, because when this first rolled out, there wasn't a ton of academies.
This is number 9.
Yeah,
out of the whole
thing. When we first got started, we were literally doing everything. So there was painting that was involved. There were audits at different stores. I mean, we got to travel. We were everywhere in the beginning because they were scouting out where they needed to have academies and all this different stuff. So it was really, really fun. Got to travel and meet a lot of different people, put you before a lot of different divisionals. Like there was a lot of exposure and a lot of knowledge that came with this role that I feel like helped me to be good at the role that I'm in now and eventually, whatever.
And passing on wisdom, all those different things.
Absolutely.
Shout out to your different stores. I don't think we hit your stores. What all stores did we cover through that process?
Okay, so there's really not a ton of stores. So I started off at 992.
Okay, so
that was
in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then didn't leave there until Academy.
Oh, okay.
So promoted within the store, which is
4637.
Yeah. So came here to 4637, and then from there went to 472.
So in Broken Arrow. So
what's cool about that is that the person that hired me at 992, that was my assistant, is now my store manager at 472.
Really?
Which is Brad. Yeah.
That's
he was actually my assistant.
So shout out to Brad.
Yes. Shout out to Brad.
Good job. Way to make it.
Yes.
That's fun. Big leadership lessons along the way. I know you've got a ton. What are some that just stand out to you? They go, man, I really need to pass these along.
One of the main ones that's really stuck with me that I can see is just in every role and in every aspect is that everything we do and everything we don't do is teaching someone something. And so if I make the decision to follow a process that Walmart has set, that is not only for me, that's for every person around me that's learning from what I'm doing. And the same is true if I make a decision not to follow a process.
Wow.
That is teaching my associates and teaching fellow associates, my coworkers, everybody, whether or not that thing should be important.
Wow.
Right? So that's been probably the biggest lesson. And that goes, you can extend that beyond processes. That goes to something simple as CFF and what kind of environment are we creating in our stores where if I walk in and I see an associate and I don't even take the time to say hi, right? Yeah. And I just walk past them because I'm busy, right? I'm a co-manager and I have expectations from my store manager, market manager, whatever. If I don't take the time to say hi, if I don't take the time to greet them, thank them, whatever it is that I see that they're doing, I'm teaching my associates that this is how we do business here.
Sure.
Right? That the relational aspect is not important. And so that's really, that's just a really crucial piece is that I own that when I step foot in my store, that I'm intentional, not just with the processes, but with the relationships. Because I'm not going to have a successful store if I'm not intentional with developing the relationships with the associates. And that's really been the big thing.
So what you do or not do teaches somebody. Teaches everybody something.
Yes, absolutely.
Incredible. That's an incredible one. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to make sure we get you onto the show was met Sean, saw his energy when he was at the academy working together, and then he's left and went, and we felt a void of Sean not being here, just your presence. And so I wanted to make sure that people saw that because sometimes, this job ebbs and flows. We see good managers and unfortunately we see bad managers and our lives can really be impacted by those changes. And there are great managers out there and want to make sure people see that on this. And I'm not saying like you're the only one. I'm just saying I just want to make sure your voice was on here. So it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff. What about I like what you just said. So the guy who hired you has now been promoted as well, is now the store manager. Is there anything in that process that you thought was interesting from seeing him as a cashier to now seeing him as a co-manager? Not to call him out because I know Brad you're watching, but let's just pretend like anybody.
Honestly, I think it speaks to the development of Walmart, like how invested they are in making sure that people that are committed to Walmart are the ones that Walmart is committed to. right? Like, so I think that's probably been the coolest thing is seeing someone who may or may not have had intentions of making a career out of this, develop and blossom into this store manager, and just seeing someone who you never knew what their intentions were when you first met them, but that Walmart was able to take them and groom them, right? So this is kind of what we do here at the Academy, giving people the tools that they need in order to succeed.
Wow.
And then watching them succeed. Right. The other part of that is that you have to go succeed. Right.
Sure.
It doesn't do us any good to give you all these tools if you're not going to use them. And so being able to see somebody who was able to take tools and use them and be successful at it. And so now you're an example to me. Oh, okay. Well, I can follow that path as well.
Sure.
And that if I'm committed to taking the tools that Walmart gives me and using them, then Walmart is going to be committed to make sure I'm successful.
That's awesome.
And I think that's true for everybody.
That's awesome. Let me ask you a pointed question that just came up while you were talking about it, talking about that piece of it. Sean, actually, the store that he's at is also our market office, and I think there's a lot of people out there that know the feeling that when the market team comes into the store, sometimes it's like, whoo, it gets a little crazy. And I want to know, maybe you can give us some insight. What's it like to work in the store where you see him every day? And we have a great market team, by the way, who are mentors of mine and good people. Well, they're watching this episode going, what are you trying to say, sir? I'm talking about for everybody watching this.
So the other cool aspect of that is that our market manager was our store manager at 992.
Oh my goodness. So it
is a very small world. And so I've known him for years. And obviously, he's a very intense guy. Love Jared, our market manager. He's been the one that's kind of been there through every move that I've made. And so,
given that this video goes out to everyone, company-wide, let's say this is Jared Armstrong,
Jared
Market 356. We'll go ahead and say it.
Absolutely.
An incredible market manager who continues to kill it in the whole big picture.
Absolutely. He's incredible.
If you haven't been to Tulsa stores, you should come check out Tulsa stores.
But he's very intense. But I think what's cool about having him in the store is that I think, and again, you just have to take advantage of being able to glean from people.
Sure.
And so I'm really comfortable with him. And so I've been able to kind of get his mindset and really get a lot of knowledge, because I think we have more opportunities to be with him than everybody else, which is scary for some stores.
Yeah.
But for us, it's kind of like, it is what it is.
You called it an opportunity. And I think other people are going,
Absolutely. So you could be scared, or you could take it as an opportunity to learn and to grow. And so I'm sure that there are people that are terrified every time they see him, or every time they see somebody from the market team. But for us, as far as the management team, he's really good about getting with us about different things. He's really good about touring with everybody. And then he's also really, really good about being relatable with all of our hourly associates. Like, he visits and he knows everybody by name. He knows the stories. He knows the life. He knows the personalities. I mean, he knows that store. And so for us, honestly, he's just part of the store. He's just part of our store.
Sure.
So we have a store manager and we have a market manager, and they have offices in our building.
Again, we're talking about getting to know your people. I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about real relationships, what we call CBWA, coaching by walking around, building these relationships that move it forward. Because at the end of the day, people do want to, you need to have all three to be ideal, right? You got to like who you work for. Mm-hmm. You got to like who you work with. You got to like what you do. Now, sometimes we don't have all three. Sometimes we don't have but maybe one. Sometimes, and that makes it complicated.
It does.
But you're talking about relationships, which tethers all of that together. Mm-hmm. Liking who I work for, liking who I work with. The other one, liking what you do, that's going to be on you.
Absolutely.
But you've went through the different roles, and you found something you really like what you do.
I do.
What's the future of Sean?
Future right now is eventually I want to run a store. I think that's my goal. That's current goal and very attainable right now. So I probably need to have some more goals attached to that, but they will come. But one of the things that really made me want to step back into operations from being a facilitator was that I got to see how much of an influence that I could have. And I wanted to create a work environment like we had here, which we were able to create something I felt like that was really, really special with our academy and with our academy store, that I wanted to see that environment created in the stores. And I think far too often we're all business, and we don't carry through with the relational piece, and we don't get to know our associates, and we don't allow Walmart to be fun. All right, so when you're talking about spark, Surge is all about spark. So I think for me, that's exactly what the spark is. It is being able to take joy in what we do, whether that is serving our customers or whether that's serving our associates and serving each other. And when I think of kind of the really sad devastation that's kind of happened with the weather and everything that's happened recently in Oklahoma, it does my heart good to be able to see how many associates were ready and willing to go to different parts of the city, different parts of Oklahoma, and to different stores because they knew that they needed help. And that's what they wanted to do more than anything. They wanted to step out of what I'm doing, and I wanted to help them, because if we can help create joy somewhere else, then we want to do that. And that's our associates. Those are the people that we have working for us and with us at Walmart. And I think people don't get to see that all the time, and we don't get to encourage it a lot. Yeah. So me as a co-manager, me eventually as a store manager, and whatever else Walmart would have me to do, I want to make sure that I am lighting the spark, that joy in each and every one of my associates, assistants, whoever it is, that they're taking joy in what they're doing, and that we're creating joy for our customers, and that we're creating an environment of joy for each other. That's really important.
I'm just going to, amen. Hashtag spark joy.
Spark joy. I like it.
I think that's good. I mean, that was the last question. What's the spark mean to you? And you not just nailed it, but you clarified something that I think is so important for us to realize. And I love how you worded it. You said sometimes we don't let Walmart, let us have fun, and it's not like the group that won't let us. Sometimes it's our interactions.
Absolutely.
And we forget because we get focused on, the day-to-day. Yeah, we have inventory. We got inventory this week here. And so as soon as I get done with this, my lunch, we're going to go do some more counting. So I'm with you. We're all in the same boat together. This isn't what Surge does full-time. Does do other things, I promise. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
It's been such a long... We've been trying for a while.
I know.
You had inventory recently.
And well, ours is coming. I was helping out in other places.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, ours is coming next month.
Well, good stuff. Thanks for being on the show. Anything you want to add? Throw out there to anyone?
Just appreciate you. Appreciate all you're doing to help Walmart be fun. Right? Allowing people to have fun at Walmart and allowing people to really take joy in what they do. That's obviously what I'm about, but I know that's what you're about too, so I appreciate you so.
What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Ball and socket. Do ball and socket.
There we go. That's always awkward.
Awkward for everyone. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching today. Sean, thanks for being on the show, of course.
No problem.
If you want to watch this whole episode and so many others, you can always tune into all the different avenues we have. YouTube, Facebook, and of course now there's audio podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud.
Sweet.
I mean, it's all over the place. And as you know as well, different days do different things. On Mondays, you're going to see Retail Rebel and other leadership focuses. Wednesdays, conversations like this. And Fridays, just for fun videos. So keep checking in each week for all those fun things.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.